Well, it took me about 3 years, but I finally got round to making Endorphin Ecstasy 4. Now, this intro you see here, which had the Vice City Stories music, I was incredibly proud of that. I thought that was the greatest intro. It was just the perfect, exciting, ridiculous opening to an exciting, ridiculous thing that had taken a long time for me to get around to it. And there were a number of technical improvements to this installment over the previous ones, because for one thing I'd learned that having such a terrible frame rate was not a good idea. And though I hadn't used Endorphin in a long time and I'd forgotten a lot of the stuff I knew, but once I relearned it, I was able to use it more effectively and in more complex ways because obviously, excuse me, obviously my brain had expanded its knowledge of things, so I was much more clever like, and I was able to do things that had previously seemed like witchcraft. And oh, that thing there that I had to think of a whole bunch of scenes to fit the video, and I ended up putting a few little references to Total Recall in there. And that was one of them, the dude on the chair, who's like in Total Recall. But the rest of this is just a whole bunch of madness. I was completely out of practice, and I was just, any crazy idea I thought of would work. And you'll notice a lot of them involve violence. I'm a very violent person. I like this one where he kicks the ball and hits the plane. That took quite a while for it to actually to line them up so that they would hit properly, but it worked. Now, you see what you have here is when I was making the music, it took a long time for me to, not making the music, I'm putting the music in there, I couldn't decide what music to use. And when I did decide, I was tried to make the scenes line up with the music in certain places, which is very, very tricky to do. The stuff took a lot of effort. Well, that's another Total Recall thing there. But, and the basketball, this thing, on and off, it may have been about a month of my free time. So I hope you appreciate it. These videos are not trivial to make. They take a lot of effort. And they're a lot of fun as well, but they do take a considerable amount of effort. So I hope you appreciate that. And so some more of these scenes were, I think, one coming up. So they're not here, but in a minute there's a little reference to Deathstalker 2, which is where he throws the thing and the guy explodes. That's a ref there. Here it is. Yeah. Boom. Yeah, that's a thing from Deathstalker 2. I like doing things with the camera like this, where it like crashes into your face. I like trying to be, make it interesting like that. You kind of play with your perceptions and your expectations. But, you know, and the big question is though, these are a lot of fun, even though they're a lot of effort. If the big question is, would I make a fifth one? And quite possibly it would be the answer. Oh, this last thing is one giant Total Recall, but never mind that. If I did make a fifth one, I think how I'd do it is I would pick one track to be in the background and make the video long enough for that track, that music. I wouldn't do this thing I did where I have several tracks and make it. And this is obviously a Red Dwarf joke, but and then it has music from the ending of Red Dwarf, but because I went all out on this episode, just kind of on the expectation, in case I never made another one, I wanted this to be a proper send-off. And it is my favourite. And last, right at the end here, during the static, there is an Easter egg, and I have to leave you now, but look out for the Easter egg. Goodbye. There it is.